Hi there! Today I'm unboxing a gimbal for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera Original. I briefly mentioned about this gimbal in the last video, the all-in-one solution / rig video. So let's get started. So this is the MozaMiniP, a compact gimbal. I went through a bunch of gimbals for the pocket camera. Like I've mentioned this multiple times, I usually use the Ronin S for everything. I have tried lots of gimbals in the past 2 years, from the Zhiyun series to the other Ronin gimbals, but the Ronin S has always been the best one for me. And then recently I was looking for something more compact, lightweight, because the Ronin is a pretty heavy gimbal. Then I came across 3 gimbals. The first one was the Zhiyun M2, then this MozaMiniP, and the other one was Feiyutech G6 Max. So out of the 3, I chose this one, simply because I feel this one is somewhere in the middle, where it can also take weight, and it's also lightweight, and as you can see, it can fold up and get locked and become a pretty small, easy to carry solution. So in the box you get the gimbal, the MozaMiniP, L bracket, phone holder, tripod, and a few cables with the user manual. So before I talk about the good stuff about this gimbal, let me just mention a few problems I have with this gimbal. First and foremost, this is a hybrid gimbal, and I think out of the 3 gimbals I mentioned, the M2 and G6 Max, this one is the only one which has a plastic body. This one has a plastic body and the upper part is all metal. It's not too bad or a big issue. It's just, I think it keeps it light, but it doesn't feel too strong when you hold it. The quality is not too bad of the plastic. It's just that coming from the Ronin or the Cranes, then it just feels like, okay, the quality is a bit lower. The next thing, I'm not sure if this is a pro or con. It has a pretty good locking system, but the locks are a little too rough. It requires a little bit of effort to really unlock and also relock the gimbal. But besides that, there are 3 different locks. One's here, the other one's here, and there's one at the corner. There's one more issue I do have with this gimbal, is where the power button is placed, which is right here. And it is very easy to accidentally press this button, because if you see right now, I have my thumb on this button. So I think the power button should have been placed somewhere else, because it is very easy to hit that button and then right in the middle of a shoot or like filming something, you might end up pressing the button and the gimbal is just going to turn off in the middle of the shot. So you have to be careful with that. Besides that, yeah, not much problem. I think this is a pretty good option for the pocket camera. I have played with it. I've had it for the past week, but I've played with it only 3 days so far. I was busy with other stuff, so I didn't get a chance. But along with that, like, this gimbal pretty much has all the same features as any other modern gimbal. The same modes. It all comes down to personal preference. I think for me the most important thing is the grip of the gimbal. Maybe that's why I always use the Ronin S, because I'm just so used to it. It feels good. And the only reason why I wanted something smaller is that gimbal is very heavy and it's kind of difficult to carry it all the time. And especially for the pocket camera, it's not a heavy camera, so you don't need a big gimbal for that. One interesting thing about this gimbal, I don't think this would really matter to anyone that's using the Blackmagic camera. but for cell phone or smartphone shooters, this might be a useful thing. The camera has a L bracket, so you don't have to take off the camera and switch from vertical to horizontal or horizontal to vertical. You can just take out this bracket and then slide it in the other way. So I think this is a pretty interesting little touch here. But this is the first time I'm using a MOZA gimbal. So far I've only used DJI and Zhiyun gimbals, and I guess that's why it took me a while to make a decision to get this, because I wasn't quite sure. I have heard a lot of good things about MOZA, but it's just that I have never used, or I don't know anyone personally that has a MOZA gimbal. I know people that have Feiyutech gimbals and use Feiyutech. Even I haven't owned a Feiyutech gimbal so far. It's pretty much been between Zhiyun and DJI. But I guess I'm not disappointed. It's a good gimbal. It's just that it has a few issues, but nothing major, I would say. It's pretty good for the price. And I think for people that shoot with small DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, this would be a good option. Also for people that switch between mirrorless and cell phones. With cell phones, it doesn't really require much work to put it on or balance it. It's pretty fast and easy. For the cameras, it depends on the lens. So just like in the previous video, I showed you guys how I attached the little arm grip to the DJI gimbal. The same thing can be done here, and then you can use it the same way. So this makes your setup a bit smaller and lightweight. Also, I wouldn't recommend anyone attaching the Sony battery plate if the BMPCC is on top. I think the better solution would be again to use this. It does limit you with your movements a little, but if you're doing something, a crazy movement, or you're using the inception mode, in that case just unplug the battery plate and just use the battery in the camera, the Nikon one, and then later you can switch back. So this gimbal, I have tested this gimbal with multiple lenses. If you're someone that pretty much always shoots with the speed booster and the Sigma, I don't think this is a good option for you, because that does make your setup a little heavier. So yeah, in that case, this is not a good option. But if you're using micro four thirds lenses, the Panasonic lenses, most Panasonic lenses I have shown you guys in the previous videos, they work. I tried the TD Artisan 35mm, that's easy to balance. I did try to balance the 7.5 fisheye TD Artisan. That one required a little bit of work, but I will definitely try that again, because I don't think I balanced it properly. I didn't really shoot anything with it, I was just testing it out. So if you're using micro four thirds lenses, then sure, the lighter your lens, the better. If you're going for heavier lenses, then it's going to be a little tough. In that case, you might need counterweights, or I think the better option would be just go for a heavier gimbal. So I think this is a pretty good option for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera if you want to keep your setup small and light. As you can see, the gimbal itself is pretty compact, easy to throw in your bag, and the camera is also a compact camera, the Blackmagic Cinema Camera original. So I think they work pretty well. Like I said, there are two more options, the M2 or the G6 Max. I haven't tried the G6 Max, so I cannot comment on it, but I'm sure it can also hold up the camera quite well. M2 I don't recommend simply because it does take a while to balance the camera on that, and you're also a little more limited with the lenses. But with this, you do have a little more options because this can take a little more weight. And yeah, like I said, a few issues with the body and design, but nothing major. Only problem is the power button being here. That's the biggest issue. But once you start using it, I guess you'll get used to it, and then you'll be a little more careful by not accidentally hitting it. But yeah, so you can let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and if possible, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.